Time is running out. Archangel Michael reveals that a disaster is already on its way to your home. If you don't ACT now, it will be too late. Open this now. My beloved, pause for a breath and feel this moment. Feel how your heart leaned in before your mind could explain why. This is not an interruption in your day, it is an arrival. You were not wandering when these words found you. You were being guided, gently, precisely, lovingly. I speak to you now, because your soul was ready to listen, and because the timing matters more than you realize. You have been seen in ways you could not see yourself, noticed in the quiet hours, when you felt overlooked, and held during moments when you wondered if anyone truly understood the weight you carry. I come close to you now, not with noise, but with presence, not with force, but with recognition. Something within you already knows this message belongs to you. That soft tightening in your chest, that stillness settling over your thoughts, that is remembrance awakening. Time feels different right now, because you are standing in a narrow doorway between what is being and what is preparing to be. Do not rush past this threshold. Stay with this message. Let it meet you exactly where you are. You are not late. You are not early. You are precisely on time, precious soul, and this moment has been waiting for you, my dear one. Long before anything shifts in the outer world, the inner world begins to speak. It does not shout. It does not rush. It whispers in sensations, feelings, and moments you might have brushed aside. You may have felt it as a quiet heaviness that appeared without reason, or as a gentle tension that settled into your chest even on calm days. This was not anxiety without cause. It was awareness awakening, asking you to pay attention. There were times when your thoughts drifted toward questions you could not fully form. A sense that something familiar no longer fit the way it once did. You may have noticed that certain conversations drained you more quickly, or that places and routines you once relied on began to feel hollow. These shifts were subtle on purpose. Your soul speaks softly because it respects your pace, your readiness, and your tenderness. Perhaps you felt an urge to pause before decisions you would have once made automatically. A hesitation, a second breath, a moment of stillness that seemed to interrupt your momentum. That pause was not confusion. It was guidance stepping closer. Your intuition was inviting you to slow down, to sense beneath the surface, to listen beyond logic. Even if you ignored it at first, it never stopped caring for you. You may have experienced sudden waves of emotion without a clear story attached to them. A quiet sadness, a longing, or a restlessness that arrived unexpectedly. These were not signs of weakness or instability. They were signals that an old layer was loosening. When something within you begins to change, the emotional body responds first, clearing space before the mind understands why. My beloved, there were also signs in your environment that mirrored what was happening inside you. Small disruptions, gentle delays, plans that did not unfold as expected. These moments were not obstacles placed in your way, they were invitations to reconsider direction. Life was nudging you to notice where you were moving on habit rather than intention. You might have felt drawn to silence more than usual, or to moments of solitude where your breath could deepen and your thoughts could settle. In those quiet spaces, something ancient within you stirred. That stirring was recognition, a remembering that you are guided not only by what you see, but by what you feel when you are honest with yourself. There were nights when sleep felt different, when dreams lingered longer than usual, or when you woke with a feeling you could not name. These experiences were gentle messengers, carrying insight from a deeper layer of your awareness. Even if you forgot the details, the impression remained, shaping your sensitivity and your perception. Do not judge yourself for the signs you questioned or dismissed. You were not meant to understand everything at once. Awareness unfolds like dawn, gradually, allowing your eyes to adjust to the light. Each nudge, each feeling, Each quiet discomfort was part of that gradual illumination. The unease you noticed was not a prediction of harm. It was a loving alert, reminding you that growth often begins with discomfort before it brings clarity. Something within you was asking for alignment, for honesty, for space, to breathe more fully. That request came through sensation, because sensation is the language of the soul. My dear one, the most important sign was the one that brought you here. The feeling that made you pause, that drew your attention, that whispered, "Stay with this." That feeling is discernment awakening. It is your inner wisdom stepping forward, ready to guide you more clearly now. Hold this gently in your heart. Nothing was wrong with you. Nothing was breaking. You were simply becoming more aware of yourself, more attuned to what no longer serves you, and what is quietly calling you forward. These signs were not meant to frighten you, but to prepare you with kindness and care. You are learning to listen to yourself again. And that, precious soul, is the beginning of true guidance. My beloved, while your days unfolded in ordinary ways, something extraordinary has been taking place beyond what your eyes could see. Destiny does not always announce itself with sudden noise or dramatic change. Often, it moves quietly, rearranging details behind the scenes, aligning moments, softening paths, and gently closing doors you were never meant to force open. What you thought were delays were actually careful calibrations, ensuring that what comes next meets you when you are truly ready. There were prayers you released without knowing how deeply they were heard. There were intentions you whispered in moments of exhaustion, asking for relief, clarity, or change, even when you doubted anything would respond. Those words did not disappear into silence. They set subtle movements in motion, movements that required time, patience, and precision. Some things could not arrive until other things were moved out of the way first. You may have felt frustrated when progress seemed slow, or when momentum faded just as you thought it was building. But consider this gently, my dear one. Had everything unfolded according to your original timing, you might have been overwhelmed or unprepared. What felt like stagnation was actually protection, allowing your inner strength to develop before new responsibilities and opportunities emerged. There were redirections you did not understand at the time. Paths you were certain you would walk suddenly shifted. People drifted away, conversations ended, plans dissolved. These moments were not signs of failure. They were destiny adjusting its course, guiding you away from what would have drained you and toward what will sustain you. Even the disappointments carried wisdom, teaching you discernment and resilience. Behind every pause was preparation. Behind every closed door was refinement. You were being shaped not only to receive what is coming, but to hold it with grace. Some blessings require a stronger foundation than you once had. And so your life slowed, your focus narrowed, your awareness deepened. This was not meant to punish you. It was meant to strengthen you. My beloved, unseen forces have been working in harmony, aligning circumstances, timing, and understanding. What approaches your life now carries purpose. It arrives not to disrupt you, but to reposition you. And because this repositioning matters, it could not be rushed. Every delay was intentional. Every detour was meaningful. You may notice now that certain patterns are repeating, not to trap you, but to offer you a choice to respond differently. Destiny often revisits lessons until they are integrated. This repetition is not a setback, it is an invitation to mastery. You are being asked to step into a new level of awareness, where old reactions no longer guide you and conscious choice begins to lead. There is a quiet intelligence shaping your journey, one that honors your free will and your readiness. Nothing is being forced upon you. Instead, you are being gently positioned at the center of your own transformation. The shifts you feel are not random disruptions. They are signals that alignment is nearing completion. Trust that what has been withheld was never meant to harm you. Trust that what has been delayed was delayed out of care. You were being protected from rushing into experiences that would have demanded more than you could give at the time. Now, something within you has matured. Your patience has deepened. Your clarity has sharpened. Your intuition has grown steadier. This is why the sense of movement feels stronger now. The quiet preparation is reaching a turning point. You may feel it as anticipation without a clear image, or as a readiness that surprises you. That feeling is not imagination. It is recognition. Your inner world is beginning to match the outer changes preparing to unfold. Hold this truth gently. Destiny has not forgotten you, and it has not delayed you without reason. Everything that has happened has been moving you toward a moment of alignment that honors who you are becoming, not who you once were. You are not behind. You are arriving. Stay with this understanding. Let it soothe the doubts that whisper about lost time or missed chances. Nothing has been wasted. Every step, every pause, every redirection has been shaping you for what is about to meet you. And when it does, you will recognize it not as something sudden or foreign, but as something that has been quietly approaching you all along. My beloved, there comes a moment in every unfolding when the path narrows not to trap you, but to focus you. You are standing in such a moment now. It may not look dramatic from the outside. There may be no clear signpost, no sudden event demanding action. Yet within you, something is asking to be acknowledged. You feel it as a quiet pressure, a knowing that this season requires more honesty than the ones before it. This is the turning point where awareness becomes choice. Until now, much of what has happened around you could be met with patience and observation. You could wait, reflect, and allow life to guide you gently. But now, a response is being invited. Not a rushed decision, not a perfect plan, but a sincere willingness to choose alignment over comfort. Comfort has its own language. It says, stay where you know the rules. It promises safety through familiarity, even when that familiarity has grown tight or stale. Comfort does not mean peace, it means predictability. And while predictability can feel soothing, it can also quietly shrink your spirit if it keeps you from listening to your deeper truth. Growth speaks differently. Growth asks for trust before certainty. It asks you to step forward without seeing the entire path, guided only by the quiet steadiness of your inner knowing. Growth does not demand fearlessness. It asks for courage that exists alongside fear. This is the choice before you now, precious soul, not between right and wrong, but between remaining unchanged and allowing yourself to become more fully alive. You may notice resistance rising as you sense this choice. Doubts may appear, reminding you of past disappointments or whispering that it is safer to wait a little longer. These voices are not enemies. They are old protectors, shaped by experiences when caution was necessary. Thank them gently, but do not let them decide for you. They were formed in another season, and this season asks for a different response. Delaying the choice does not stop the movement around you. It only shifts the weight of it. What is avoided now gathers energy, returning later with greater intensity. This is not a threat, it is simply the nature of change. When something is ready to move, resistance creates friction, while cooperation allows flow. You are being invited to choose flow. My dear one, choosing does not mean you must know exactly how everything will unfold. It means you acknowledge what you already know within yourself. You know which habits keep you small. You know which conversations you have been postponing. You know which truths you have been softening to avoid discomfort. These are not failures. They are signals pointing toward the place where your courage is needed most. There is tenderness in this moment, and it deserves your respect. You are not being asked to abandon yourself. You are being asked to meet yourself more honestly, to choose what nourishes your spirit rather than what merely maintains the familiar, to trust that the part of you guiding this choice sees further than fear ever could. As you stand here, notice what happens in your body when you imagine choosing alignment. There may be nervousness, but beneath it, there is often relief. A subtle exhale, a sense of truth settling into place. That feeling is your compass. It does not shout, but it is steady. It does not argue, but it persists. This turning point is not about forcing change upon your life. It is about consenting to the change already seeking you. When you say yes internally, even quietly, circumstances begin to reorganize with surprising grace. Support appears where you did not expect it. Strength rises where you thought you were fragile. Clarity follows sincerity. My beloved, you are not being tested. You are being trusted. Trusted to listen to yourself. Trusted to choose what honors your becoming. This moment does not demand perfection or haste. It asks only for presence and willingness. Even a small step taken in truth carries more power than a grand plan built on avoidance. Hold this gently as you breathe. You are capable of making this choice. You are allowed to choose growth even when it feels unfamiliar. And whatever you decide, know that guidance remains with you, responding to your honesty with care. The turning point is here not to frighten you but to free you. Stay with it. Let it reveal itself fully. And when you are ready, step forward with the quiet confidence of one who knows they are choosing themselves. My dear one, there is a sacred moment that arrives before every true renewal, a moment when the hands must gently open, not because what they were holding was wrong, but because holding it any longer would prevent something new from being received. You are standing in that moment now. What you are being asked to release has already begun loosening its grip, even if part of you still reaches for it out of habit or familiarity. Release does not always come with clarity at first. Sometimes it arrives as a quiet fatigue, a sense that certain patterns require more effort than they once did. You may feel tired of explaining yourself, tired of carrying expectations that are no longer yours, tired of maintaining versions of yourself that were formed to survive rather than to thrive. This tiredness is not weakness. It is wisdom signaling that it is time to lay something down. You might notice old habits asking for your attention, even though they no longer comfort you. Old roles trying to pull you back into familiar shapes. Old stories about who you are and what you deserve repeating themselves automatically. These are echoes, not commands. They belong to earlier seasons when you needed protection, predictability, or approval. Honor the role they played, but understand that they were never meant to define you forever. Releasing does not mean erasing your past. It means freeing yourself from carrying it forward unnecessarily. You can keep the lessons without carrying the weight. You can honor the memories without recreating the patterns. What is falling away now is doing so because it cannot travel with you where you are going. Not because it is unworthy, but because it no longer fits the frequency of your becoming. There may be grief in this process, even when you know release is right. Grief does not mean you are making a mistake. It means you are human, capable of attachment, capable of love. Let that grief move through you without judgment. It is simply energy shifting, making room. Tears, sighs, moments of quiet reflection, these are all part of the clearing. They soften the space so something new can arrive gently rather than forcefully. My beloved, making space can feel unsettling because emptiness is unfamiliar. When something leaves before its replacement is visible, the mind rushes to fill the gap with fear. But this space is not emptiness. It is preparation. It is the pause between breaths, the silence before a meaningful word, the stillness before a new chapter begins. Trust this pause. It is not abandonment. It is intention. You are not being asked to release everything at once. Release happens in layers, as much as you are ready for, no more. One belief at a time. One attachment at a time. One outdated identity at a time. Each small letting go creates more ease, more breath, more openness. Notice how your body responds when you imagine not carrying what you have been carrying. Notice the subtle lightness, even if it feels unfamiliar. This is not about becoming someone else. It is about removing what has been covering who you truly are. When you release what no longer serves, your essence does not disappear, it becomes clearer. Your voice steadies. Your boundaries soften but strengthen. Your choices begin to feel less forced and more natural. You move from effort into alignment. My dear one, you are not losing safety by letting go. You are redefining it. Safety is no longer found in holding on tightly, but in trusting your ability to respond, adapt, and remain grounded within yourself. What you are making space for now requires openness, honesty, and presence. It cannot arrive where clutter remains. And so the clearing continues gently, lovingly. As you release, you may feel moments of doubt, wondering if you have let go too soon or too much. When that happens, return to your breath. Return to the quiet knowing beneath the noise. Ask yourself how it feels to be more spacious inside. Ask yourself whether the weight you release truly needs to be picked up again. Often, the answer arrives as calm rather than words. Hold this truth close, precious soul. Nothing meant for you will miss you because you released what was not. What belongs in your life will meet you in the space you are creating. And what you are letting go of now is doing so with grace, clearing the way for something that aligns more deeply with who you are becoming. Stay gentle with yourself as this unfolds. You are not emptying your life, you are preparing it. And in this preparation, you are honoring your growth, your courage, and your readiness for what comes next. My beloved, there comes a moment when the soul begins to recognize itself again, not as it was shaped by circumstance, but as it was always meant to be. You are entering that moment now, beneath the layers of expectation. Beneath the stories you learn to tell yourself in order to endure, there is a strength that has been waiting patiently for your acknowledgement. It has never left you. It has only been gathering depth. You may not have always felt powerful, but power is not measured by how loudly one stands or how little one feels. True strength is revealed through endurance, through your capacity to continue loving, hoping, and choosing integrity even when life felt uncertain. Look at how much you have carried, how often you adapted, how many times you rose quietly without recognition. These were not accidents, they were evidence of who you are. Your worth has never been dependent on approval, performance, or perfection. It has always lived within you, steady and unchanging. Yet now, you are being invited to claim it consciously. To stop shrinking your truth to make others comfortable. To stop doubting your inner voice when it speaks with calm clarity. You are not here to fade into the background of your own life. You are here to inhabit it fully. This awakening does not arrive with arrogance or force. It arrives as grounded confidence, as a gentle but firm sense of self that does not need to explain or justify its existence. You may notice that your decisions begin to feel simpler. Not because choices are fewer, but because you trust yourself more. What once felt confusing now feels clear, not because the world has changed, but because you have. My dear one, you are remembering that you are resilient, not because you avoided hardship, but because you learned how to move through it without losing your essence. Every challenge refined your discernment. Every disappointment taught you what truly matters. You are wiser now, not hardened, softer where it counts, stronger where it's needed. There is a purpose stirring within you that is not loud or dramatic, but deeply rooted. It is the purpose of becoming fully yourself, of living in alignment with your values, your intuition, and your inner truth. This purpose does not demand that you save the world or prove anything. It asks only that you show up honestly, courageously, and with compassion for yourself first. You may feel a new confidence emerging, one that does not rely on certainty about the future. It is the confidence of presence, of knowing you can meet what comes with integrity. You no longer need to rush or compare. Your path is unfolding at its own sacred pace, and it honors who you are becoming, not who you were expected to be. As this identity awakens, you may notice shifts in how you relate to others. You may speak more clearly, set boundaries more gently but firmly, and choose connections that feel mutual rather than draining. This is not withdrawal. It is alignment. You are learning that honoring yourself does not diminish love, it deepens it. My beloved, you are allowed to take pride in your growth. Not the kind of pride that separates, but the kind that grounds you in self-respect. You are allowed to recognize how far you have come without minimizing your journey. Every step mattered, every pause had meaning. And now, you stand with a clearer sense of who you are, and what you are, willing to carry forward. This awakening is not about becoming someone new, it is about shedding what was never truly you. As you do, your presence becomes more authentic, your voice more steady, your choices more aligned. You move from reaction into intention, from survival into creation. Hold this identity gently but confidently. Let it guide you when doubt arises. Let it remind you of your capacity when challenges appear. You are not fragile. You are refined. You are not lost. You are discovering yourself at a deeper level. Stay with this awakening. Allow it to unfold naturally. You do not need to announce it or prove it. It will be felt in the way you walk, the way you speak, the way you choose yourself with quiet certainty. You are becoming more not by adding anything, but by finally allowing yourself to be fully seen, first by you. And in this seeing, precious soul, you step into your power, not as something you acquire, but as something you remember, has always been yours. My beloved, as these words begin to settle, allow yourself to rest in the quiet that follows. Not the silence of emptiness, but the silence of understanding. Something has shifted within you simply by staying present, by allowing yourself to receive rather than rush away. This moment is a soft landing, a place where your heart can exhale and recognize that it is safe to move forward. You do not need to grasp this message tightly. Let it rest within you like a warm light, steady and calm. Return to it whenever doubt tries to hurry you or fear tries to speak louder than truth. What you have received here is not meant to overwhelm you. It is meant to accompany you, gently reminding you of what you already know deep inside. As you continue on your path, commit not to perfection but to presence. Commit to listening when your inner voice speaks quietly. Commit to honoring your needs without apology. Commit to choosing what brings alignment, rather than what merely avoids discomfort. These commitments do not require dramatic change. They begin with small, sincere choices made with awareness and care. My dear one, trust that you will recognize the next step when it arrives. You do not need to search for it anxiously. Guidance reveals itself in timing, not in force. When the moment is right, clarity will feel natural, almost familiar, as if you are remembering something you once forgot. Until then, allow yourself to walk gently, attentive to what feels steady and true. There will be days when uncertainty returns, when old fears try to reclaim your attention. When that happens, pause. Breathe. Place a hand over your heart and remember that you are not starting from nothing. You are moving forward with wisdom earned through experience, with strength refined by patience, and with a deeper trust in yourself than you have ever known. Bless this path you are walking, even when it curves in ways you do not yet understand. Bless the courage it takes to remain open. Bless the compassion you are learning to offer yourself. Nothing is wasted here. Every step, even the hesitant ones, is part of your becoming. My beloved, you are allowed to feel hopeful without knowing all the answers. You are allowed to feel calm, even when the future is still unfolding. Peace does not come from certainty, it comes from trust. And trust grows each time you choose to stay present, to stay kind to yourself, and to move forward with honesty. Hold faith not as something distant, but as something lived. Faith is the decision to keep your heart open. It is the willingness to believe that what meets you next is shaped not to harm you, but to help you grow. It is the quiet assurance that you are supported as you take each step, even when the path feels new. As you leave this moment, carry with you a sense of gentle determination, not urgency, but readiness, not pressure, but willingness. You do not need to rush ahead or look back. Simply walk forward with the knowledge that you are guided, protected, and deeply seen. Stay with this message when the world feels loud. Do not ignore the calm knowing it has awakened in you. Receive this blessing fully. May your path unfold with clarity, may your heart remain steady, and may your courage be gentle but unwavering. You are safe to continue. You are chosen in this moment because you were willing to listen. And as you move forward, know this with certainty: everything you need will meet you when you need it, and you will recognize it not with fear but with peace. My precious soul, remain here a little longer. Let the stillness deepen rather than fade. There is no rush to return to noise, no urgency pulling you away from this space. Moments like this are rare because they ask nothing of you except honesty and presence. In this quiet, something within you is being gently sealed, not locked away, but affirmed. What you have felt, what you have recognized, will continue to echo long after these words end. Carry forward the understanding that you do not walk into tomorrow as the same person who arrived here. Even if nothing outward changes immediately, something inward has aligned. An inner alignment has a way of shaping outer reality with patience and precision. Trust that subtle shifts are already taking place, arranging circumstances, softening resistance, preparing supportive moments you cannot yet see. My beloved, make a quiet promise to yourself now, not spoken aloud, not dramatic but sincere. Promise that you will no longer abandon your inner knowing to please fear or expectation. Promise that when your intuition speaks with calm clarity, you will pause long enough to listen. This promise does not bind you, it frees you. It allows you to walk forward with integrity rather than self-doubt. There will be times ahead when the world asks you to hurry, to decide before you feel ready, to conform before you feel aligned. When those moments arise, remember this feeling. Remember the steadiness you touched here. You are allowed to move at the pace of truth, not pressure. What is meant for you will not demand that you betray yourself to reach it. Let courage become something gentle in your life. Not a force that pushes you beyond your limits, but a presence that reminds you of your capacity. Courage can look like resting when you once would have forced yourself forward. It can look like speaking softly but honestly. It can look like choosing peace over proving your worth. These choices are powerful, even when they are quiet. My dear one, bless your imperfections as well as your strengths. They are not obstacles to your path, they are textures that give your journey depth and compassion. You are not required to arrive whole before you are worthy of what comes next. Wholeness is something you grow into by allowing yourself to be human along the way. As you step back into your life, let your awareness remain open. Notice how different situations feel in your body. Notice when something brings ease rather than tension, clarity rather than confusion. These sensations are not random. They are guidance continuing to speak in the language you are learning to understand more clearly now. Hold faith not as a belief you must defend, but as a posture of openness. Faith is the willingness to trust that even unanswered questions have value, that even uncertainty can carry grace. You do not need to know the destination to take the next honest step. The path reveals itself as you walk it, responding to your sincerity. My beloved, may you meet yourself with kindness. In the days ahead, when old patterns resurface, greet them with curiosity rather than frustration. When doubt appears, let it pass through without giving it authority. You are not starting over, you are continuing with greater awareness. That makes all the difference. Bless your mornings with intention, even if it is as simple as a breath taken consciously. Bless your evenings with release, allowing the day to soften its grip before rest. These small rituals anchor you, reminding your spirit that it is heard and cared for. Do not underestimate the power of choosing again. Each moment offers you the opportunity to return to alignment, to recommit gently to what feels true. You are never disqualified by hesitation or missteps. You are guided through them, learning, refining, becoming. Stay with this sense of being accompanied. Even when you feel alone, you are not unseen. Even when progress feels slow, it is still movement. Trust the rhythm of your unfolding. Trust the wisdom that brought you here. Trust yourself enough to continue. Receive this final blessing softly. May your heart remain open without becoming overwhelmed. May your boundaries remain strong without becoming rigid. And may your path be illuminated by a quiet confidence that grows with each step. You are safe to go forward now. Carry peace, carry trust, carry the knowing that you are held. And when you feel the call to pause again, to listen again, you will know where to return within yourself, where guidance has been waiting for you all along.